Yes.
Trustee Lopez, I think we're ready to go. We have all board members present and Paula Brown is on.
Got it. Miss Paula, are you ready?
Yes, I'm here.
All right. It is 5:08 and we call this meeting to reconvene. If you don't mind doing roll call, please.
Trustee Ramos,
Present.
Dr. LeBlanc. Dr. LeBlanc.
Present.
Trustee Calhoun,
Present.
Dr. Little,
Present.
Trustee Lopez.
Present. Did you hear Dr. LeBlanc's present? I want to make sure that she gets notated.
Yes, I did. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. If Ms. Calhoun will lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance.
Okay. Well, you can rise or sit, however you're able to do it. Right hand over the heart. Ready, begin. I pledge allegiance
To the flag
Of
of the United States of America and to the republic
for which
for which it stands,
one
one
nation,
nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for some.
All right, thank you so much for that. Item number 6, report of action taken in closed session. There was no reports to give out. And moving on to item number 7, approval of open session agenda. Board members, do I have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
It's been moved by Dr. LeBlanc and seconded by Dr. Little. Do we have any discussion? Trustee Ramos.
No discussion.
Trustee, Dr. LeBlanc.
No discussion.
Trustee Calhoun.
No.
Dr. Little.
No.
All right, seeing no discussion, Ms. Paula, can you do the roll call?
Trustee Ramos,
Aye.
Dr. LeBlanc,
Aye.
Trustee Calhoun,
Aye.
Dr. Little,
Aye.
Trustee Lopez.
Aye.
Thank you.
There are no recognitions for tonight's board meeting. Moving on to item number 9, request to address the Board of Trustees on agenda and non-agenda matters. Item 9.01, request to address the Board of Trustees. Ms. Paula, do we have any public comment?
Yes.
If you don't mind reading them.
Okay. Board of Trustees, let me paint a dismal picture for you about our enrollment. In fall 2020, only 58 English classes were offered. A year later, in fall 2021, this fell to 44 classes and only 39 survived. In spring 2020, 53 English classes were offered. This fell to 42 classes in spring 2021. Do you see a pattern here? Our numbers are vastly declining. Where is recruitment? What is the school doing to bring in new students? Wait, Dr. Curry has a plan, the One More Class campaign. When I saw the email from Dr. Curry asking faculty to promote his One More Class campaign, I was floored. I had to reread it. The president of our college has failed to read the room. This campaign sounds like the tactics of a for-profit college. Dr. Curry even had the audacity of including the financial incentive that students would get for taking one more class. Appeal to their pockets, what a low tactic. As an instructor, my students trust me. They confide their hopes, wishes, dreams, as well as their struggles with me. I know they are overwhelmed, and I know that they cannot handle another class. Because they trust me, they will listen to me and sacrifice time, money, energy, mental and physical well-being just because I said they should take another class. You want me to abuse the trust of my students and peddle this campaign? Absolutely not. First, you asked your faculty to pick up the slack for your failure to increase enrollment. Now you are asking the few students who have stuck with Compton College to pick up your slack. Where will it end? Signed, Nikki Williams. The next one, Board of Trustees. Dr. Curry has shown time and time again a gross lack of caring for faculty. We are committed to the students of Compton College. This is demonstrated by dedicating time to enhanced educational experiences for which there has been no compensation. Dr. Curry's consultation with faculty is superficial, and he has made it very clear with his dismissal of Senate recommendations that he does not value faculty voices. Working for decades has been at times stressful but gratifying. What is being done to add a sense of stability to our college? Signed, Jess Nunez. Board of Trustees. During the pandemic and as a response to the incredible amount of work that going online would require, many other colleges increased distance education coordinators and instructional designers release time, but Compton College lowered theirs. Help me make sense of this. Having a healthy and robust distance education program is vital to the present and future of our college. Regards, Carlos Maruri.
Bella, no.
Board of Trustees. You are failing the community for which you serve. No students equal no college. The college is dying. There is an aggressive cancer destroying the college. You have the power with sound reasoning and independent critical thinking. Action to resurrect and save the college from imminent death. We beg you, save the college, save the community. With pure conviction, Lisa Rios, Professor of Communication Studies, Compton College. Question for September 7th board meeting. Will Compton College ever have a trades department in maintenance and operations, and is there a timeline for it? I am blessed to be at a good college like Compton Community College. Over the past years, we faced layoffs and many other problems. We are now on a comeback, and I am looking towards a bright future. I am proud to say I am a Compton College employee of about 24 years. My question is the college going to bring the trades back to Compton College? And if so, can I have my position back as a plumber at this fine college? Thank you so much for your time. Also, thank our CEO and all our 200 plus employees for the great job they are doing. From me to you, let's keep moving forward. To the board, I would like to give thanks that I was not laid off, demoted, or my position canceled like in 2012 due to COVID-19. I did not get a chance to speak on my behalf in 2012, but I can now. Thank you. Submitted by Gerald Warren of the Maintenance and Operations Department. Board of Trustees, Fall 2021 marks the beginning of my 12th year as a full-time counselor at Compton College. For as long as I have been working at the college, students have struggled to graduate because all the courses they need for their major are not offered here. I have had to send one student after another for more than a decade to El Camino College and other surrounding colleges so they can get access to the courses they need to complete an associate degree or transfer to a four-year institution. Dr. Curry calls himself the Equity Avenger, and yet he has never rectified this long-standing problem of providing Compton College students the access to courses they need for their education. Where is the equity for our students? I have students right now who cannot graduate because we do not offer the courses they need. I can't send these students away because they do not have the transportation or means to get to other colleges. Therefore, their educational journey will end with no degree. They have attended Compton College and have nothing to show for it. Dr. Curry has had over a decade to fix this problem. It has persisted under his leadership, and yet he has done nothing to address it. For our last few Compton College students, he is not the Equity Avenger. He is the Equity Destroyer. Submitted by Holly Schumacher, MS, counselor and professor. Greetings to the Board of Trustees of Compton College. These are the percentages of the FTES goals set by Dr. Keith Curry and his leadership team. On September 10th, 2019, we had 64% of this goal. This was pre-pandemic. On September 30th, 2021, we were at 57%. We went from a D to an F grade. I was a faculty member of Compton College when we lost accreditation. Compared to 2005, 2006, the current numbers are worse. Morale is terrible. People are leaving. Tenured people have left. Something is wrong here. This is a leadership question. Example, President Lincoln put General George McClellan in charge at first, but nothing was going right on the battlefield. McClellan was a brilliant logistics man, but couldn't guide an army. Lincoln relieved him of duty. Subsequently, Lincoln gave General Grant his trust. He would save the Union. Right now, we have McClellans running the college. We need Grants and Shermans. The FTES campaign is not going well. As I said before, something is wrong here. Students vote with their enrollment. This campaign is not student-friendly at a basic level. Example, Canvas serves many as our grade book, but it goes dark for students when the semester is over. When the course title disappears, a student wonders, what? I can't check my grade anymore? Really? This was not a student-friendly managerial decision. Some students left and went to Long Beach City College this fall. They also got paid $300 to get the vaccine. Something is wrong here. Many would say that it is COVID-19 or separation from El Camino College or other things. There is one glaring issue. FTES numbers were running at 64% before the pandemic. This means 36% below target. Something was already wrong here. When I told the board that Long Beach City Council member Rex Richardson was exploring the feasibility of a satellite campus in North Long Beach, I was not lying. It is real. Maybe Long Beach senses something is wrong here too. Maybe it's not just me. FTES is life. Something needs to change. Submitted by David Maruyama, Professor, English Department. Board of Trustees, how many more times do we have to hear that faculty are to blame for low enrollment? We are told that we are not doing enough to get more students. What are you doing? Don't you have a whole department responsible for recruiting? Submitted by Kent Squitskis. Board of Trustees, Dr. Curry has created such low campus morale. It is his job and yours to boost campus spirit and create a team. What he has done is create a stressful work environment with our jobs on the chopping block by allowing student enrollment to get so low and destroying programs. I have heard Dr. Curry say on countless occasions that faculty are expendable. He is not quiet about voicing his disdain for us. He once recited off a list of about 40 faculty that he would happily fire and start fresh. Does this show a leader that is invested in making the school better and increasing student enrollment? What this shows is a vengeful leader who is bent on destroying the school. Compton College once had a beautiful historical legacy that is now marred by becoming the first community college in California to lose its accreditation. Because of the direction that Dr. Curry is taking us in, it feels as if we will gain another distinction, the first community college to lose its accreditation twice because of fiscal insolvency. Maria Martinez. Board of Trustees and Dr. Curry, as one of the few native Comptonite faculty members who lives and votes in District 2, I can speak from authority and experience when I say the college's unwillingness to hire faculty that reflect the district racially and culturally, while actively sidelining those who do, will only continue to erode enrollment numbers. Students have complained to me for years about racist and classist experiences they experienced at other schools, yet you all seem intent on reducing the travel time to those experiences. It saddens me as a faculty member and Comptonite. I wish it saddened you all as much. Submitted by Aaron Lee Dowell. Board of Trustees, we are told that there is a cleaning plan for each building and classroom. Putting something down in writing and having a plan is great, but not executing it is a dereliction of duty. We walk into filthy rooms that have not been cleaned or sanitized, and we are expected to do our jobs in these conditions. Do your job. Submitted by Jeanette Morales. Board of Trustees, the administration of this college is disconnected from faculty needs. We were 1.5 years into the pandemic before much needed funds were provided to support online teaching. Faculty were asked to pivot and jump online, Zoom, and we all rose to the challenge by increasing our Wi-Fi bandwidth, purchasing whiteboards, microphones, and lights to continue to provide quality education to our students. This is just one example of faculty rising to ongoing challenges at Compton College and being supported too little, too late. This needs to change or we will continue to lose faculty in ever increasing numbers. Please help Compton College faculty do their jobs by ensuring that we receive the support we need when we need it. Submitted by Vanessa Madrid, Assistant Professor of Art. Board of Trustees, you have almost doubled Dr. Curry's salary in the last 10 years, increased it to over $300,000 annually, which is higher than Santa Monica and nearly highest in the whole state. Yet, Compton College adjuncts are among the lowest paid in the state, about second lowest. Our enrollment numbers are declining, and you kept giving him a raise. Keith received 29% increase over the last few years, with administration receiving 16% over the same amount of years. However, at the same time, full-time faculty received nothing from 2016 to 2020 then. After 2 long years of negotiation, only 5% increase spread out over years and a measly approximately 2% for part-timers. Equity applies to faculty and staff. How is this equitable? How does this support the ever-increasing hard work that faculty and staff did during the transition and beyond? And why is release time being cut when the workload is increasing for positions? Where is the equity in that? We cannot keep adjuncts because of low enrollment and poor salary. We have full-time faculty leaving in droves, not because of retirement, but because of bullying and salary and the overt disrespect that the whole administration has for faculty led by and at the direction of Dr. Keith Curry. Submitted by Judy Crozier, English professor. That is all the request.
Paula, you have 1, 2 from Jennifer Hill. You didn't read that one.
I don't have that one on my list either.
Just give me 1 second. Okay, I'm sorry. Okay. Compton College Board of Trustees statement. Imagine being a student here at Compton College. You are just coming back to school and want some extra support, but you cannot join the first year experience program or any other learning communities because they don't exist. You decide to try honors coursework, but you cannot do an honors project because it is no longer offered. Meanwhile, actual honors classes are very rare, with only 1 course available for the entire campus this semester and a subject that you do not need. You are interested in taking journalism, French, or maybe even marketing, not just for your major, but for professional enrichment, but none of those courses are available. When you do find classes you need, you have a difficult time signing up because the registration system is always malfunctioning. It is also hard to find courses that fit into your schedule since the selection is very limited. Even though you are fully vaccinated, you submit your monthly COVID test as required. But when you come to campus, you have to wait 20 minutes at the front gate and then 20 minutes more because the test submission list is incorrect. You were careful to show up early, yet you are still late for class. When you do manage to get to class on time, you sit in the front row, but you cannot hear your professor because of the loud construction noises right outside of your classroom window. You are hungry between classes, but there doesn't seem to be anything to eat or drink nearby. Someone mentions a fancy vending machine out in Tartar Village. So you hike across the campus to check it out. It costs $7 for a salad. So you settle for potato chips instead. You have a second class on campus, but the professor informs you that it is canceled this week because your classroom in Voc Tech is 85 degrees and the air conditioning doesn't work. He says he is worried about the lack of ventilation during COVID. Just last week, you saw a rat in the bathroom. There is a 6-foot-tall pile of broken chairs in the corner of one of your classrooms, and the professor says it's been there for years. Even now, when things are supposed to be cleaned and sanitized, everything still feels grimy and you do not feel safe. You decide to try an online course instead, since coming to campus is such a hassle, but you are having problems with your internet access. You sign up for a free Wi-Fi hotspot, but you never hear back after filling out the form. So you decide to drop the class. The courses that you need to graduate have been canceled 2 semesters in a row. Now you are worried you will have to transfer to another community college further away that does not offer the classes you require, that does offer the class you require. It will be much harder to get there, but at least you can finish your degree. You put all of your faith in Compton College, but did Compton College show any faith in you? No, it did not. Is it any wonder that our enrollment has gone down every single year of the past decade under Dr. Curry's failed leadership? Submitted by Jennifer Hill, concerned faculty member, English Department, Compton College. Thank you. I believe that's the last one.
Okay, thank you, Ms. Paula. Moving on to item 9.02, Compton Community College District Board of Trustees, future agenda items request. Trustee Ramos. Dr. LeBlanc,
No items.
Trustee Calhoun. Dr. Little.
no,
Oh, sorry.
Trustee Calhoun, what's the other number where there is future board agendas? Is it number 19 or 20? I'll do it then.
Let me get you that number to be specific.
I think I'll put it back there.
You have an opportunity to address it again in future agenda item.
Oh, number 21, I have it.
Yep.
It's
Yep.
under 21. I'll do it then.
All right.
Okay.
And Dr. Little?
Similarly, I'll wait. Thank you.
No problem. Thank you. All right, moving on to item, bear with me. Moving on to item number 10. We have Board of Trustees meeting minutes. Minutes for August 17th, 2021, Board of Trustees meeting. Can I get a motion?
So moved. Second.
It's been moved by Trustee Calhoun and seconded by Dr. LeBlanc. Do we have any discussion? Trustee Ramos.
I did not move that.
Oh, sorry. Who was?
Sharani Little.
Oh, let me rephrase that. So it was moved by Dr. Little, seconded by Dr. LeBlanc. Do we have any discussion? Trustee Ramos.
No discussion.
Dr. LeBlanc.
No discussion.
Trustee Calhoun.
No discussion.
Dr. Little.
No discussion.
All right. Ms. Paula, can you do the roll call?
Trustee Ramos,
Aye.
Dr. LeBlanc,
Aye.
Trustee Calhoun,
Aye.
Dr. Little,
Aye.
Trustee Lopez.
Aye.
Thank you.
Moving on to item number 11, presentations. First up, 11.01, 2021-2022, Compton Community College District final budget. Dr. Curry.
Just to provide you an update, we've been working on the budget since last spring. We have provided the budget assumptions for tentative budget. We provided the tentative budget in June. We came forward last month with the final budget assumptions, which were shared with the Planning and Budget Committee. Then we came back again with the final budget to Planning and Budget Committee, which include a letter from the co-chair of the Planning and Budget Committee about the budget. So tonight is another presentation about the final budget. And then we also have a public hearing scheduled, and then also the adoption of the budget. So I would like to hand it over to Dr. Nasser.
Thank you, Dr. Curry. President Lopez, Board of Trustees, President Curry, I present to you the 21-22 final budget. We'll talk about budget assumptions, the unrestricted fund budget, other budgets, and as Dr. Curry mentioned, at our last meeting, we presented to you the final budget assumptions. There have been no changes to these assumptions. Just going to through this rather rapidly. And then I present to you the summary of the general unrestricted fund. Our fund balance is estimated at 18 million beginning fund balance at the end of last fiscal year. Revenues total of 47 million, expenses and transfers of 50 million. We hope to end the fiscal year with the ending fund balance of 15.5 million. This is the restricted summary. Similarly, the beginning fund balance, revenues, expenses, and then the ending fund balance. The recovery fund, as you know, this is the last year of this fund, and so we'll be spending down this fund. Measure A, D, and Measure C and CC, as you know, our buildings are coming to completion, and so we'll be having a lot of payments to be made, and so our fund balance will be dwindling at the end of the fiscal year. This is the financial aid fund, primarily a transfer of funds. We get assets or transfers from the feds, and then we distribute them to the students. I'll be glad to answer any questions you may have.
All right, board members, Trustee Ramos.
No questions. Thank you for the summary.
Dr. LeBlanc.
No questions. Thank you, Dr. Nasser, for the presentation and summary.
Trustee Calhoun.
I'll wait for a public hearing.
Dr. Little.
No comment. Thank you for the report.
And moving on, thank you so much for your report. Moving on to item number 11.02, charter focus and directed pathways to completion. Dr. Curry.
Yeah, I'd like to turn it over to Sherry Berger, Henry G., and also Dr. Cesar Jimenez, who will be providing their presentation in regards to our guided pathways work here at Compton College.
Thank you, Dr. Curry. Good evening, Board of Trustees and campus community and members of the community who are here with us today. So I am Sherry Berger, Vice President of Academic Affairs. I will let Vice President G introduce himself as well, and then Dr. Jimenez.
Good evening, Board. Henry G., Acting Vice President, Student Services.
Good evening, Board of Trustees and members of the community. My name is Cesar Jimenez. I'm the Dean of Counseling and Guided Pathways.
Next slide, please. So brief overview of our agenda. We'll talk about the charter completion by design, our 2020-2021 accomplishments from last year, and our next steps for this year. Next slide, please. So for the charter completion by design, as you know, Compton College has been laser focused on student equity and success through our charter completion by design framework, which drives the work of our guided pathways team. Over the next few slides, we'll share a brief update on key accomplishments of the Guided Pathways Committee in 2020-21, and we'll note how those accomplishments align with this framework. Next slide, please. The Program Mapper Pathway is a signature strategy aligned with the connection and entry elements of the Charter Completion by Design framework. Over the past year, a robust team of counselors, faculty, administrators, and classified staff have worked hard to launch the Mapper, an online visualization of our programs of study. The tool is publicly accessible as you can find it at the link in the PDF of this document. The Mapper tool facilitates student connection and entry in a few key ways. One, prospective students can view program maps to see which classes they need to complete before even arriving on campus. Because it is public, prospective students can talk with their families, high school counselors, or others in their lives to discuss their plans and prepare to enroll at Compton College in the right classes that they need to graduate and on time. New students can review these program templates with counselors or other Compton staff to catalyze the educational planning and enrollment process. 3, current students can view requirements of their program and explore their options if they decide to change their major. And 4, we have 10 ADT program maps that have been aligned to Cal State University Dominguez Hills program maps. This was a comprehensive approach that included Compton College and CSU Dominguez Hills. The program mapper officially launched on our webpage on July 15th. Next slide, please.
And to better serve our students, Compton has been deeply engaged in an effort to provide a case management support model for our students. As a collective, we spent the last year co-constructing a shared definition that will inform our support strategies and interventions moving forward. You can see the definition on the slide in front of you. The Charter Success teams will be operationalizing the case management model in the coming year with a particular focus on strong communication, holistic support, and equity always at the core. Next slide, please. An example of our case management approach in action can be seen through the work of our financial aid team to increase the FAFSA, CATA submissions, CATA being the California DREAM Act applications, verifications, and eligibility. To tackle this challenge, we utilize data to identify a target cohort of students who, with intervention, could become eligible for financial aid. This is critical as we know financial aid recipients, and in particular Pell recipients, actually demonstrate a higher likelihood to persist and complete their degrees. Under leadership of Dr. Sarah Goldrick-Rabb, the Hope Center at Temple University conducted a study confirming this correlation and noting that financial aid interventions are key to a student success strategy. So through a case management approach, the financial aid department identified 177 eligible students who were simply missing documents necessary to qualify, and 780 eligible students who had no FAFSA on file at all. If you note, of the 177 students that were missing documents, after phone calls from the Charter Success teams and the call center, 158 or 89.2% actually completed and received financial aid. And continuing on with that, it's critical for our enrollment and completion agenda. Students that had no FAFSA, 780, 133 completed, which was only 17.1%. But please note, we didn't start this process until midway through the spring semester. And so we are already starting that process this fall to make sure that we get more students completed during the year. The GP team worked to develop the infrastructure to conduct these nudges through the Charter Success teams and call centers, which provided just-in-time outreach to support our students. And I think it was a very successful effort on everyone's part. Thank you.
Next slide.
So in addition to the case management efforts, the Charter Success team has taken an active role in helping students feel connected to the college, especially through the COVID-19 pandemic. So in front of you in the slide, you can see through welcome emails, video messages, and events, Compton College faculty and staff have worked to become more visible outside of the classroom and the office. These efforts have not only increased visibility, but have given students meaningful opportunities to connect with the college. As research shows, the more touch points a student has with the college, the more likely they are to persist and complete. Please note that the TST video there We're in the process of captioning and posting the videos, which are connected to the Charter Success Teams and will be linked to the Guided Pathway Division's webpage. Next slide, please. So we've made some significant strides to sustain this work to ensure future Compton College students to continue to receive high quality services and support. We developed a mechanism for the Charter Success Team, the TSTs, to submit annual program plans to participate in the institutional resource allocation process. The Guided Pathways Committee did identify a need to allocate ongoing funding for the TSTs to continue their connection efforts, funding for college swag to foster our college-going culture and pride, new survival kits to equip students with the necessary resources and tools to getting a strong start, funding for academic conferences that engage students in meaningful ways in their disciplines. All of these were approved for funding. As part of the institutional resource allocation process, we will continue to monitor, evaluate, and adjust our funding so that these interventions are aligned with our mission, values, and ultimately the Charter Completion by Design framework. Next slide.
Also, while all of this work was underway, we were also engaged in meaningful work to understand the student experience through design teams. As shown on the slide, a design team is a team of faculty, staff, and administrators to conduct qualitative inquiry into student experiences. 2 design teams were formed last year around connection and entry. These design teams interviewed students, coded their responses, and developed recommendations to the Guided Pathways Committee. Those recommendations informed the committee's goals for the 2021-2022 academic year, and we will discuss those on the next couple of slides. Next slide, please. Moving ahead, we are fortunate to have robust partnerships to help us continue our Guided Pathways efforts, including a partnership with Achieving the Dream, partnering with the College Futures Foundation to work with Dr. Rob Johnstone, and participating in the California Guided Pathways Project 2.0. Next slide. We will continue to leverage those partnerships to help us accomplish our 3 Guided Pathways Committee goals, informed by the work of the design teams over the past year. They include stronger on-ramps for students, improved holistic student support, and a continued focus on sustainable integration of Guided Pathways efforts institution-wide. We would like to thank Dr. Curry for his unending commitment to this work and to the many committee members you don't see today, but who are essential team members as we drive this work forward on behalf of our students. Next slide. And with that, we'd like to entertain any questions that you have. Thank you.
Thank you. Trustee Ramos.
No questions. Thank you for the presentation. It was very insightful.
Dr. LeBlanc.
There are no questions. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for the presentation. Good job.
Trustee Calhoun.
Yes. So I want to go to page 6 on the case management. And I might have missed it. What actions are we taking to close the gap with a student not filling out FAFSA? And why were we only able to get about never mind, answer the first question first, and I'll get back with the other one. I'm sorry.
Certainly. You know, what we did was, as I mentioned, we started this process, and I wasn't here, but I understand that process and time frame. We didn't start this till the second half of the spring semester. And so as we started making those phone calls and follow-ups with the students, we did get 133 students to complete, which is only 17%. And that's why I made the point that, you know, we started late last spring, but we're already starting at the beginning of this fall to reach out to students immediately to say, you need to fill this out. You notice the ones that had already started the FAFSA were missing documents, and we're able to contact those folks, and 89% of them completed their documentation. It's a little bit harder to get them to complete if they hadn't even started the process, but we do intend to make sure that number goes up significantly.
So you say you started, the process started the second half of spring. Is that when it was supposed to start, or was it supposed to start earlier than that? because that's a big jump.
Trustee,
It is my understanding that's when they started. I don't know that it was supposed to start any earlier than that, but like I said, I couldn't report that because I've only been here a month, but I believe that's when they started the process of the TSTs identifying the students.
Yeah, I think somebody was trying to say something.
Trustee Calhoun, I'm just gonna, since I was here and Vice President G was not, this was a new initiative that we launched in the spring semester as part of our new case management efforts. And it was a new attempt and a new way to try to reach these students through their Tartar Success teams. So the Tartar Success teams dissected this list of the financial aid students with missing documents and no FAFSA by their major. And the counselors and student services advisors reached out to those students by major to get students to submit their missing documents, help them with that process, and also to reach out to the students with no FAFSA. This was not an endeavor that we'd ever tried before in this way. So as I understand from Vice President G, this effort is going to start now in the fall semester. So we will have the whole year to try to get students to complete their 2021-2022 FAFSAs, especially the ones who have no FAFSA on file.
Okay. Because it's about the students. Then I have another question. Might not be on this, might be on guided pathways. Guided pathways.
Mm-hmm.
So I want to understand when a student comes to get all their classes that have to do with guided pathways, is their classes printed out or is it written down for them?
The students register when, are you talking about when they meet with a counselor?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yes, ma'am. Yes.
Maybe I'll have Dr. Jimenez answer that since I'm not familiar with the counseling aspect.
Yes, so we do have DegreeWorks, which is an online platform that is a part of Ellucian. And through that platform, we do type in the classes that students need for their student educational plan, whether it's abbreviated student educational or comprehensive student educational plan. And then students do have access to that 24/7. That's available to them on their My Compton portal. But we also print those out for students. But at the end of the day, you know, it is in an electronic format, but we do have the opportunity there to print it for students. But if they do need access to it, they can go to My Compton portal and access their student education plan.
And they are aware of that, right? So normally they don't get a printout. Somebody just writes their classes down on a paper and give it to them.
Well, you know, they counselors have the opportunity to write down, classes, student educational plans, paper, but we have tried to move away from that. And the time I've been here now for 2 years, a little over 2 years, we've worked with DegreeWorks, and we've had 3 of our counselors lead that process, and students are able to access their student educational plan through DegreeWorks.
Okay, are you sure it's working? I just asked that question. Somebody was asking me about it, and I told them, well, talk to your counselor. And their stuff was written down on a piece of paper instead of a printout. And I'm just wanting to make sure that is the procedure. It is printed out, not written down on a piece of paper and given to the students.
Yeah, I could probably follow up with this afterwards, but Trustee Calhoun, we also do have one of our counselors, Carlos Maruri, ended up creating a video for DegreeWorks that is available on the Compton College website and on YouTube. And that's probably the second or third highest viewed video, which showcases how students can access their ed plan.
Okay, no problem. I was just very concerned about the FAFSA and the missing documents and how many students are really reaching out. And I'm glad that you ladies and gentlemen have decided to start much earlier than previously, so that our students know what's available for them and to them, so they can get it early. Thank you. The report was good. I liked all the information here. I just had a couple of questions, and thank you for answering them.
Dr. Little.
Yes, I just have a couple of questions on the program mapper slide, which is, I guess, slide number 4 is right before number 5. Are you able to find that one?
It's on the
Yeah,
screen.
thank you. So I just had a quick question, kind of in collaboration to what we were talking about earlier. When students enter, if they enter in the spring or second term 2021, how do they enter into this map? Is it based upon what they've done, or do they start at the beginning? That's my first question.
They would start at the beginning. They would start the first term. The dates here are just illustrative. If you came in fall 2020, and then you would go to spring 2021 and then fall 2021.
So it's the 5, and the 6 in that order.
Well, there's actually a 4th term that didn't make it to the screenshot.
Okay, but I'm saying it goes in that order. So like I couldn't go to term 2, mathematics, quantitative reasoning until the top 5 were done.
Well, it really depends. I don't want to say you can't. There are some classes that might have prerequisites. This is an English associate degree for transfer. So you couldn't take English 102 and 103 without having the written communication. It's a prerequisite. But could you take math in your first term and the arts in your second term? Certainly. This is the map that's just recommended that the faculty and the counselors worked through.
Okay, so these are recommendations that will get them through as efficiently as possible, as well as scaffolding their learning, so that by the time they get through the 4th term, they would have had the requisite courses. Are each of the courses listed on each of these offered every semester?
Well, there's a lot of electives in here. So the green indicate general education areas. And so is every course in that list offered every semester? Not necessarily, because there's a lot of classes. But could you satisfy that area in every semester? Yes. Within the red classes, or the purple, I'm not sure what color this is, it says AAT core, those are core classes that are offered. English 102 and English 103 are offered every semester. The electives that are listed, where you have multiple choices, those classes may not be offered every semester, but something from that list is offered every semester.
And there's sufficient capacity for all students.
Correct. And the yellow is just general elective so that you can reach your 60 units.
So if I have an academic plan, written communication is a requirement before core 102, right? So every semester, there are sufficient written communication courses available.
Correct.
Okay, and the purpose of this whole entire program was to have supplemental support in class or during the semester so that students wouldn't have to take remedial courses. Is that correct? Am I understanding the program correctly?
So that's a different issue. That's the AB 705 for our requirement to let students know they have the right to enter transfer level English and math. And we do have an English 101 support class that we have been trying to schedule. It had been scheduled where it was linked with a specific English 101 class. This semester, we're trying something different where we've uncoupled the classes and we're starting the support class a little bit later to give students time to enroll and recognize if they need that additional support with their English 101. But the English 101 support class is not necessarily part of the math. It is there as a resource for students.
Okay. And the math is equivalent in terms of access and support?
So with the math, we've tried to offer the co-requisite support classes in the past. we've been unsuccessful in having those classes get sufficient students. We I worked with the dean over the area as well as the division chair, Dr. Roach, to really take a look at the placement guidance that we were providing, and we made changes just this summer. And so we are hopeful that in the future we'll be able to offer co-requisite support classes for math that students will want to take because we are more clearly communicating our recommendation for the support class to them.
And are we tracking the retention and matriculation rate of the students? So like, is there a gap between we're not offering the class, but yet not everybody is passing? Or is everyone passing?
Everyone is not passing, no. I don't have the data here on the AB 705 readily available.
But next month, Trustee Dr. Little, we're bringing our institutional set goals, which looks at transfer level English and math, so we can be able to have that as part of the conversation as well.
Yeah, because I think it'll be important that if ultimately we have this program map, which is great, thank you so much for the report and the strategy, is that at the end of the day, tracking how many students are actually accessing it, both because of that it's available, two, because they're matriculating in a way that they have the scaffolding information. And if, for example, we are experiencing smaller class sizes, to me, it would in some way assume that it would allow faculty even more time for support and teaching, which should in some way have a positive impact during this transition time of learning and then learning outcomes. That's all. Thank you.
I have another question. Unless after you ask the last person, Ms. President Lopez.
Dr. Little was the last person, so you can go, Dr. Trustee Calhoun.
You said something earlier. I should have wrote it down. So when you do this program mapper and the students see what they have, and if it doesn't have the other class that they need, what do you offer them in substitute of the class they need so that they can still get what they need?
One of the reasons for the map is to help us with our scheduling so we know what classes we need to offer within the 2-year program maps. So that the maps help guide the classes that we schedule. If it is a core requirement and no other course is available, then we have a scheduling plan. This is particularly true in the CTE classes where we do have a full, like a 2-year scheduling plan for classes because they are, you have to build on those skills from one class to the other. Right. Within the non-CTE classes, this helps guide the classes that we schedule so that there's a rotation among those electives. So students have choices where available.
Okay, if the classes are there, if they not, okay. All right, thank you.
Thank you so much for your presentation. All right. Moving on to item number 12, public hearing on the 2021-2022 Compton Community College District final budget. Today, Tuesday, September 7th at 2:21. It is 6:05 p.m. We will open public hearing for the 2021-2022 Compton Community College District final budget. Audience, if you have a comment, raise your hand in the Zoom application and I will call each participant. You have 3 minutes to address the board on this item. Once all participants speak, the hearing will be closed. If you have any comments, please raise your hand. All right, seeing no comments, I will close the public hearing.
You kidding me?
All right. Moving on to item number 13, adoption of the 2021-2022 Compton Community College District Final Budget. Board members, can I get a motion?
So moved.
Second.
It's been moved by Dr. LeBlanc and seconded by Trustee Ramos. Do you have any discussion? Trustee Ramos,
No discussion.
Dr. LeBlanc,
No discussion.
Trustee Calhoun,
No discussion.
Dr. Little,
No discussion, and I just wanted to ask for clarity that the item prior to this allowed for full community comments or questions. Is that correct?
correct. So we open it, and if there's no comments, it gets closed, and then you move on.
Thank you.
Ms. Paula, can you do the roll call?
Yes. Did I get a motion?
Yes, it was
Yes, you have a motion.
moved by Dr. LeBlanc and seconded by Trustee Ramos.
Mhm.
Thank you. Trustee Ramos,
Aye.
Dr. LeBlanc,
Aye.
Trustee Calhoun,
Aye.
Dr. Little,
Aye.
President Lopez.
Aye.
Thank you.
All right, moving on to item number 14, reports from representatives and employee organizations. First up, we have the Associate Student Government Report, Stephanie Lenore Del Cid.
Give me 1 second, sorry. Good evening, Board of Trustees, Compton College colleagues, and honored guests. My name is Stephanie Lenore Del Cid, and I serve as the ASU President for the 2021-2022 academic year. I'm here today to provide the ASU report for September. First, we are proud to announce that ASU, together with our President, Dr. Curry, have created a series of videos starting with our first Welcome Week video for students attending Compton College, followed by a vaccination video, which will be presented to you later this week. We want to thank St. John's staff and Dr. Curry for their ability to work with ASG to be able to do so. Second, ASG has confirmed their attendance to the in-person professional development event hosted by the Student Senate for California Community College from October 1st to the 3rd in the city of Long Beach. We're excited to network with other student governments throughout the state. Third, ASG is currently on procedures of approval for identity workshops and Emergency Leadership Institute, as well as discussing items for approval for orientational kits. Fourth, ASG has 2 upcoming interviews for applicants to fulfill 2 of our standing ASG positions. Fifth, ASG, together with the Office of Student Development, have prepared events for this Latinx Heritage Month. Lastly, ASG is currently working with the Office of Student Development and the Director of Athletics to bring back the conversation of establishing Compton College's cheerleading team. This will conclude my ASG report for September. Thank you. Have a great evening.
Thank you for that. Moving on to item number 14.02, Academic Senate Report. Dr. Minadora.
Good evening. Good evening, everyone. I am the Academic Senate President, Dr. Minadora Moldovianu, and I have a very short report today. One of them is a little bit later in the month, on September the 23rd, we will be celebrating the 6 newly tenured faculty that were added to the Compton College roster. Definitely cause for celebration. In addition to that, the Academic Senate is also preparing for the very high likelihood of coming back to have meetings on campus, just like the Board of Trustees, since we are all governed by the same rules. So in preparation for that, I have also reserved, or am in the process of reserving, the little theater. Faculty will also, senators will also be able to join from their individual offices or within the district boundaries. And I'm actually communicating with each individual senator at the time to see where their comfort zone is, so we can adequately prepare to ensure that we have quorum and that we're able to conduct business. So far, I have had, out of the faculty who have responded, most of them except for one have responded that they were willing to drive to campus in order to help support the Academic Senate so we can continue conducting business. The last thing that I would like to add is that I know that during the public comment you have heard from several of our concerned faculty, and the reality is that those are not isolated voices. and that they actually represent a large majority of the faculty concerns at this moment. So we urge our CEO as well as the Board of Trustees to look at the validity of those statements and to do whatever is necessary. I've mentioned it to Dr. Curry before. We might have a lot of differences, but there's one thing that we all agree on and that we all want, and that is the survival, and not just the survival, but hopefully the thrival of Compton College. So whatever means necessary in order to achieve that, and it is very important that we do so. And that concludes the Academic Senate report. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, moving on to 14.03 CCCFE Certified Employees Report. Holly Schumacher.
Good evening, Board of Trustees. You've heard the public comments from faculty members tonight that specifically speak to the myriad of issues that we are experiencing at Compton College right now. And tonight I would like to address the board regarding the repugnant ploy to exploit our last few remaining students at Compton College, the campaign that was drummed up by the administration titled "One More Class, You've Got This." In these incredibly stressful times of a global pandemic, our students are experiencing unfathomable emotional and financial distress, and yet Compton College is pressuring them to take on more. The campaign is absolutely tone deaf and utterly self-serving. I would like to know, did the administration consult the counseling faculty at the college to understand what our students are going through right now? We are the boots on the ground. We are the ones who know what our students are facing in these uncertain times, and they're facing physical and mental distress, an inability to keep the water on and the lights on where they live. They have food insecurities. Some are homeless. Many of our students are working multiple jobs and just trying to take care of their family members. They live in multi-generational households where they are expected to contribute monetarily, and the administration wants to add more pressure to their lives by asking them to take one more class. What are you thinking? Are you going to pay their bills? Are you going to take care of their children and their ailing family members while they do their homework? One more class is literally the last thing that our students need. I am the one and only counseling faculty member who works in financial aid. I've been at the college for 12 years. This is my 12th year. And I can tell you from experience that the number one reason our students drop classes and become ineligible for financial aid, which we were just talking about, SAP, is because they've taken on more than they can handle. When our students lose their financial aid, they can't afford to pay out of pocket for tuition. So they drop out and they do not come back. This campaign will increase our SAP students. To advocate one more class on the backs of our stressed out students is only going to drive away the last few students we have enrolled at the college. Is that what the administration wants? You want 0 students? And congratulations, your campaign is right on point. As a counselor and an educator of nearly 20 years, I took an oath that I have a duty to warn. It is my legal and my ethical responsibility as a counseling professional to notify the authorities when a student poses a threat of harm to themselves. Pressing our students to take one more class during these times of a global pandemic, given all that our population is struggling with right now, directly poses a threat to their mental health, to their physical health, to their financial stability, and potentially will damage the relationships they have with their family. This campaign is harmful to our students. Administration, listen to me now. Do not jeopardize the health and the well-being of our precious last few students for your own selfish gain. If our FTS numbers are down, which they clearly are, then the outreach department needs to actually do meaningful outreach. Postcards and radio ads are not going to cut it here. We need the outreach department to go into the community and actually connect with people and bring them in. I repeat, this is the job of the outreach department. The Director of Educational Partnerships, Nellie Alvarado, needs to fulfill the duties on her job description and make this happen. Dr. Curry, if you care at all about our students, you will require the outreach department to do their job, to bring in students to increase enrollment. That is how you increase FTS the right way, not by exploiting and causing harm to the last few students that we have left. Look at our FTS. We can't afford to lose any more students. Stop this harmful campaign, one more class, and require the outreach department to actually do recruitment. If you believe that every student is a success story, you will do everything you can to set our students up for success and not set them up for failure. Thank you.
14.04 CCCFE Classified Employees Report, Amingo McKenzie. All right, moving on to item number 15, consent agenda. Can I get a motion?
So move.
Second.
Second.
It's been moved by Dr. Little, and I believe it was second first by Trustee Ramos. Can I get a confirmation?
Yes.
All right. Do we have any discussion, Trustee Ramos?
No discussion.
Dr. LeBlanc?
No discussion.
Trustee Calhoun?
Yes, so that you know the items that I'm talking about. 1507. Oh, sorry.
I have them here. Do you want me to read them or do you want to read them off?
No, you can read them off because one of them I really want to discuss.
Most definitely. So for items, we have item 15.07, 15.08, 15.15. And those are the three that I have in that, the four that I have in that section. Is there any additional ones?
No. 15,
All right.
15, you did all those.
All right. Moving on to Dr. Little, do you have any items to pull?
Yes. 1502, 1503, 1506, 7, and 8. 1510, 1512. And that was it.
And I'm sorry, to discuss and not pull, correct?
I want to discuss them, yes.
Great. Okay. So let's start with 15.02.
Okay, so they actually go together. I'm wondering about right now, we see a lot of students moving as a result of natural disasters across the country. And I'm just wondering, is there a precedent for California community colleges to ever waive resident determination for relocation based upon those circumstances? It was just a question I had. And if so, is there a way to get an emergency approval for that as one part of our service to our broader country, as well as ways in which to bring more students to our campus?
I don't know the answer to that question, but we can follow back up on that.
Okay, I would be really, and the reason I said 3 is because I don't know what implications that would have for resident tuition. But I know, for example, that Houston, Texas, and some cities in Mississippi, some cities in Florida are welcoming communities who are displaced, and even some in the Northeast. And just wondering if Compton and Compton College in particular could be a designated space for students to continue their education.
We will follow back up on that question.
Thank you.
1503, you were combining those two, correct?
Yeah.
So then the next I have 1506.
Okay. Maybe it was 7, 8. Yeah, it's not 6. I apologize. It was 7, 8, and 9. It was an
Great. No problem. So we move on to 1507, Trustee Calhoun, and then Dr. Little.
It was the second and third whereas. You guys have the answers for it, but I just had, Dr. Curry explained it, but I still have an issue with it. Because it says without competitive bidding. And I know they quoted the section and everything of the public contract. And I think this is a 2-for-1, Dr. Curry.
What do you say?
Is this a 2-for-1? The whereas the second and third one are like together because it's 2-for-1 because it's through LACCD?
Yeah, this one is through, the piggyback is through LACCD.
But that doesn't mean that we will always and only get bids without competitive bidding.
No, this one, the issue, I would say the issue, the reason why with this one is that this firm has a state contract and most colleges in our area are using this firm. And we have been using them in previous years as a part of a piggyback as well.
I know they're located in California, right?
I think they're in Gardena.
Okay, Gardena. My question is, how can we avoid that every contract that we get, or whether by being with them, will not just be all out of state? That's what I'm talking about. How can we make sure of that?
All the contracts?
Yes.
I think the question would be is for the board to bring back the contracts board policy and have a conversation about the contract board policy and the next step, because it talks about competitive bidding. And I think that's a policy question for the board to discuss. And I recommend the board discuss at the next board meeting.
Okay, that's fine. But if this is approved tonight, then it's approved, right?
Yeah, this is approved tonight. If the board approves it, we need to move forward. The problem is we're trying to open a student services building and make sure we order equipment in a timely manner.
No.
And right now, the big issue we're having regards to computer equipment and software purchase is due to the pandemic. The lead time to get these equipment is taking longer.
Okay. Okay.
But I think it's fair to have a conversation for the board regards to contracts and competitive bidding.
Okay, thank you.
And I think when I get from the conversation, you don't want to the board wants to make sure there's not a habit that we're always using a piggyback. You would like to see some projects bidded.
Right. California, USA. Yes.
Dr. Little.
Okay, so I had similar questions just about the process and the transparency, and if there is parameters that would end the piggyback, and is there a local hire clause in these contracts?
Regards to there's not a local hire regards to the contract for these. I know that for sure. Regards to the second question, or the first question, I would say that we're trying to limit how many times we go out for piggyback. I think, especially for IT positions and IT related items, we use a lot of piggybacks for that. But we can continue to monitor it.
I would like a future audit, if we can, about all of our contracts and which one of those have local hire clauses and agreements.
You're talking about local hire and agreements, non-construction.
We
already have that in our PLA. That's the reason why I said.
I know we have it in our labor agreement, but we still expend a lot of monies outside of construction. And so that's what I'm trying to differentiate in terms of, do we have, and maybe that's the board contracting policy that you've already mentioned, that we look at if it's either an expenditure or the type of contract, that there is at least consideration of competitive bidding, as well as discussion of a local hire clause. Because I think with many of these opportunities, especially because of the funding that we're getting, that there could be a win-win where we are hiring students, and it could be, again, a manner in which we are growing and doing workforce development at the same time.
I think my recommendation will be when we talk about the contracts, I think that should be a part of the conversation. And we prepare for that for October board meeting.
Okay. Trustee Lopez, are we to go on or?
Yes, moving on to 15.0. If there's no further question on 15.07, yes. Moving on to 15.08, Trustee Calhoun.
I had 1508.
I did. But I don't know about-
You had
Yeah,
it
not
in
me.
your, you pulled it out in your, it's part of the.
Oh,
for-
yes, I did. Yes, I did. You're right. Dr. Curry answered the question, but he didn't answer the question about when I asked about a course about, the college, or you supposed to be talking to Kevin Nash about a radio station.
That was
You
included.
didn't answer, will we ever have a radio station, and how's it going with Kevin Nash?
So we provide you a board letter in regards to that. We have a meeting with him in a couple weeks. It's in the board letter.
Okay, but I want to make sure that this is going to happen, which would that end up being us bringing a class about TV media or production or whatever? Would what he would be teaching, is that another class that would be labeled something like that?
I provided this. I can't. My problem is I can't answer this question because it's not related to the board item. But we did provide in the board letter an update about the meeting with Kevin Nash that we have scheduled.
Oh, never mind. I don't want to break the Brown Act. That's okay. Disregard. It's not on the thing. I got it.
Okay, but I did provide that update regards to Kevin Nash, and we have a meeting scheduled.
Okay, forget about the TV. Forgot. It's not agendized. Sorry. Okay.
Did you have any other question, Trustee Calhoun?
Nope, not on that one.
Dr. Little.
Yeah, so I was, again, is this, first of all, part of our media that we discussed last meeting in terms of supporting a department?
Yes, and so this goes to, we had a campus-wide meeting in July, and the question was asked about, could we do more with social media? And we follow back up with Graduate Communication, have done work with our CTE program regards to providing assistance with our social media to be able to get more out there in the social media avenue. And that's why we came forward with this contract.
And so the part about not available within the district. So I recognize that expertise matters and that we definitely need it. Two things. Can we get regular evaluation updates on the effectiveness of this consultancy? Correct. In terms of hits and increases? And similar to Trustee Calhoun, is there a developmental process whereby some of our students can possibly either apprentice with, be interns with this consultancy as a give back to cultivate these skill sets? So that way, even if we don't have a given track yet, the experience can be something that can grow. It could even be a student project, team project in some of the classes, as you know, to devise social media strategy or campaigns for the college. If we work in conjunction with either an English class or a journalism class or whatever, so that way we are still getting a win-win. So that's something that I would like to ask if there's a possibility of doing that, because I think at the end of the day, we do want to, you know, obviously have the expertise that we need, but it could also help to develop our students.
And we can follow back up with them in regards to that and provide an update to the board.
All right.
I also agree with regards to at least quarterly or monthly reports, and we will let you know more so about that at the next board meeting.
Do we have any further questions on this item?
No, not for me. Thank you.
Moving on to 15.10.
I don't know who all was identified, so I don't want to jump in unless I don't know who's in order.
10 and 12 are yours.
Okay, so it was just the question around the faculty development workshops and how the determination, and is it for all faculty? I know you said it's STEM 3. Can we get a little bit more information?
Yeah. So I think my June 17th CEO message, I included information about the faculty professional development projects. These are projects that are brought forth by the faculty for those divisions. And so we supported the recommendation that came from this one is from I think it's the STEM faculty regards to one of the programs that they're offering for faculty to participate. And so I can provide you more information on that, but it's one of their projects. Numbers 15.10 and 15.12.
And so is this engaging all faculty in those departments? Is it just voluntary? And if so, what is the percentage of faculty? Is it developmental for student learning? And if so, how many, ways in which will we be assessing the impact on our students for this investment?
So they had a meeting on Friday regards to the evaluation of the projects. And so I can provide you more information on that. At the same time, provide you a board letter next month regards to update on this program. Because faculty they're applying to participate, and I don't have all the information in front of me, but we can be able to provide that.
Okay, and it would be great to see what the stipulation is to be chosen and what the expected deliverables are as it relates to participating, but most importantly, the student outcomes, and in terms of how is it being executed in the classroom, and if there's smaller class sizes, is there any data to suggest that we are seeing differing outcomes for our students based upon some of these incorporated plans?
Okay, we'll provide more update for that at the next meeting.
Thank you.
Does that cover 15.12 as well, or additional comments?
It covers it. Thank you.
No problem. Moving on to 15.15, Trustee Calhoun.
1515, the questions was answered, but it was the one I want to pull out is the provisionals. Under the provisionals, I was asking Dr. Curry about the lists, and I think he said that the provisionals for the checkpoint screening assistant. You have to go back up. Okay. And you said there will be a list, Dr. Curry?
What I mentioned to you today, you asked me for a copy of the eligibility lists that are active, and I will provide that to you and also the other board members. You asked about the screening assistant, as I mentioned in my communication back to you, was that we announced that job in April to help cover the front gate and entry to campus. So there's no eligibility list. That was just a temporary provisional job that we have available. And I think right now we're just continue to take applicants.
Okay. That was my.
If anybody wants a copy of, I just do it now, Trustee Calhoun. Anybody want a copy of your questions and our responses, please just send me an email and I can be able to send that to you.
And there was under 1515, there was another one, Dr. Curry, about the people that resigned. I don't remember that one.
You asked me about the question in regards to 2 individuals who are retiring, And did they
Nope.
receive a
No resigning. The one about,
regards to the classified employees? The question was regards to Upper Bound Math Science, program manager, and also the student service advisor for CalWorks.
Yeah.
We're doing interviews for the CalWorks position on Friday from the eligibility list. And then we also did a recruitment for interim for the Upper Bound Math Science position, and also the permanent position has been announced.
okay. And I need you to explain to me about provisionals. I always get provisionals. If there is an eligibility list, you have to pull from the eligibility list before you do provisional appointments. Is that correct?
Correct.
So for the provisional appointments, you're going to get us the list. I understand it, but is there a list out for these positions?
For which positions?
Hold on. It's under 1515.
So we have an eligibility list. We have two, I think, that's active on this board meeting. But as I mentioned to you earlier, I'm going to send the board the active list for all positions right now.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
No further questions?
No.
All right. Seeing no further questions, Ms. Paula, can you do the roll call?
Trustee Ramos,
Aye.
Dr. LeBlanc,
Aye.
Trustee Calhoun. Trustee Calhoun,
Aye.
Dr. Little,
Aye.
President Lopez.
Aye.
Thank you.
All right, moving on to item number 16, action items. Compton Community College District Redistricting Action Plan 2021-2022. Can I get a motion?
Can we group them together?
Dr. Curry, can you give me direction on the monetary amounts that cannot be grouped?
You can group 16.01, 16.03, 16.02 you can't, but 16.03 and below you can. But I would like to speak to this item if there's when it comes to discussion on this one item, but you can group all of them except 16.02.
Got it. Okay. So board members.
I'd like to move that we group 1601, 1603, 1604, 1605, 1606, 1607, 1608, 1609, and let's see, screen is frozen.
You're good at up to 9.
Yes, I know my screen is frozen. And 16. Oh, well, no, it's not my screen. It's yeah, that's it. And 1609, that was it. So I have them all, that we group those.
Board members, there's a motion on the floor. Does she have a second?
Second.
All right. It's been seconded by Trustee Ramos. So first up, we will be voting on action item 1601.
Wait, I have a question. So if we wanted to talk about something else, we had to do what? Abstain or challenge that?
You would, so Ms. Paula we're gonna do a vote right now, so you can vote no for it.
But she can also do discussion though.
Yes. So there's a first and a second, so there's the discussion right now would be open and you can
I have
discuss there.
Questions, so that's why I'm asking where is the opportunity for discussion?
Coming up next.
Okay. So whenever there's time for discussion, President Lopez, I have a question.
So the discussion that we're currently going to have is the motion to group all of these to vote in one. I'm going to start off with Trustee Ramos.
No discussion.
Dr. LeBlanc.
No discussion.
Trustee Calhoun.
No discussion.
Dr. Little.
Is this the discussion opportunity to still talk about 1?
Not yet.
6? Okay.
This is for us to, we're currently discussing.
So no discussion.
Okay, got it. All right, see no discussion. Ms. Paula, can you do the roll call?
Trustee Ramos,
Aye.
Dr. LeBlanc,
Aye.
Trustee Calhoun,
Aye.
Dr. Little,
Aye.
President Lopez.
Aye.
Thank you.
All right, so board members, we have 2 action items that we need to vote on. The first up, we are voting, I need a motion to vote on items 16.01, 16.03, 16.04, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9.
So moved.
Second.
It's been moved by Dr. LeBlanc and seconded by Trustee Ramos. Do we have any discussion on these items? Trustee
Yes.
Ramos,
No discussion.
Dr. LeBlanc,
I have no discussion.
Trustee Calhoun,
No.
Dr. Little.
Yes. So starting with number 1, Dr. Curry, how will you make the decision for the redistricting committees?
I would take applications and talk to board members and verify these are individuals that we wanted to include. Similar to what we did in the past, we do a letter of interest, and I try to make sure we have representation from each trustee area. But I also consult the board members from those areas.
And it'll be informed by current census, right?
Yes.
Okay. That's it for 01. For 03 and really for 04, all of these to do with technology. I know we've discussed a lot of these, and so is this at the point, the licenses are 1603, but the actual is 4 and 5 like actual equipment?
That's a question.
Yeah, I'm looking right now.
Oh, sorry.
Answer.
That's why I'm asking.
Yeah, yes, it's the actual equipment and it shows the rooms that it's for.
Okay,
and
so
installation.
The installation. So is this all for new buildings?
Andre Yummerkoff is on the line. Andre, can you answer the question for me, please?
Yes, those proposals are for the new buildings, similar what we did for instructional building number 1. They're audio visual in every classroom and conference room, and Wi-Fi services throughout the building.
Okay, do we have somewhere where that's itemized that we can communicate out in terms of the type of 21st century facilities that we are building and the utility to students in their classrooms and ways in which it's going to help them learn differently than before we had this investment? Because we're expending a lot of money and I'm not really certain that that messaging is getting to the community. That's a question.
Sure. The Wi-Fi equipment is kind of the latest the building will get what exists on the market. So the audio visual, there are definitely can be configured many different ways. We kind of go with the district standard, what we've been doing throughout the campus and all the classrooms. But we do include new modern technologies like Zoom conferences, technologies in all the conference rooms and public spaces.
Thank you, Andre, but it definitely is something we did not have prior, correct?
No, we're actually repeating the model, what we've been doing throughout the campus in all the classrooms.
So let me ask this question a different way.
Yeah.
Is it something that's the way we're doing the technology in the classroom that different from what we had before? Yes. If you look at the role buildings and equipment that was able to be in the role buildings, it wasn't to the technology needs of our students. Now you're starting to see upgraded technology throughout the campus. But yes, Trustee Little, you're right. Our equipment is better than what we had in the past.
Okay, and so all I'm asking is that we intentionally communicate that, make it available for the board, for the community, for the stakeholders, and find some way to charge somebody to itemize, because at the end of the day, we want to have the best facilities for students to learn. And I think it couples with increasing our FTEs, that we have facilities that are competitive and that we can provide those facilities here. So that's all.
Those proposals been discussed in the technology committee, being reviewed by all the constituents from different groups. So the faculty and staff are familiar with the technologies, and we're just installing the latest audio-visual technologies in the classrooms.
And Andre, just let me cut you off. Trustee Dr. Little, we will do as you requested.
Thank you both. I really appreciate it.
Dr. Little, I'm not sure if you had any other item.
No other items. Thank you.
All right, Ms. Paula, can you do a roll call?
Okay. Trustee Ramos,
Aye.
Dr. LeBlanc,
Aye.
Trustee Calhoun,
Aye.
Dr. Little, Dr. Little,
Come on, Dr. Little.
I'm sorry, I was on mute. Aye. Trying to mute myself. Aye.
thank you. President Lopez,
Aye.
thank you.
Moving on to 16.02, Administrative Services, Compton Community College District Resolution Number 0907, 2021B, Budget Transfers for the Fiscal Years 2021, 2022. Can I get a motion?
So moved.
Second.
It's been moved by Dr. LeBlanc and seconded by Trustee Ramos. Do we have any discussion? Trustee Ramos.
No discussion.
Dr. LeBlanc.
No discussion.
Trustee Calhoun.
No discussion.
Dr. Little.
No discussion.
Dr. Curry, is this the one you had a comment on?
No, I have no comment.
All right. See no discussion. Ms. Paula, can you do the roll call?
Trustee Ramos,
Aye.
Dr. LeBlanc,
Aye.
Trustee Calhoun,
Aye.
Dr. Little,
Aye.
President Lopez.
Aye.
Thank you.
Moving on to number 17, discussion and action items, 17.01, Compton College full-time equivalent students, FTS. Dr. Curry.
So this provides you an update of where we're at FTS wise. As you can see, our numbers have been increasing over the last couple of weeks. Our number of the sections, I think we're at 499 for the fall. We're encouraging students to enroll in another class, which was mentioned earlier. If you look at research, especially as it relates to students completing their degree in a timely manner, the goal is to see more students take more classes and provide the support for those students to be successful. And so we've been reaching out to students in regards to taking additional class this semester. We're also reaching out to students through different medias that we have, regards to students from our community, students who are interested in ESL, and also students who are interested in College Promise. So we'll continue to recruit those individuals, and now we start utilizing graduate communication more in regards to social media. I'm really excited about where we're at now because our FTS numbers have been increasing, and we'll continue that momentum and really push for that second 8-week program.
This is just a discussion, right? There was no actions?
No action.
All
So I
right.
can say, so it's discussion, so I can
Yeah.
say something. Okay.
I'm gonna call.
Okay.
Trustee Ramos, do you have any discussion or questions?
I do not. Thank you.
Dr. LeBlanc?
I do not. Thank you.
Trustee Calhoun?
Now this is 1701, right?
Correct.
Okay, it was part of one of my questions, I think. Oops. I probably wasn't.
No.
Wrong. It wasn't 1701.
It's 1703, Trustee Calhoun.
Okay, but I wanted to say something about 1701. We are going to be working, I know you say the numbers are up, but we're going to work extra harder, right? On getting our students to come back to class and getting new students in. Is that 1701?
Yeah, and we are working extra harder. I want to just put out there, we are in a pandemic, right? And so the question was brought up, or the comment, regards to we need to have our outreach department out there more in the community. Strategically, based off of COVID and the numbers, our staff has been working remotely. Now we're bringing people back on campus to provide services. Will we start going back out in the community? Yes. However, I'm going to still wait and see the COVID numbers before I put our classified staff at risk regards to COVID-19. So we've been very strategic regards to the outreach and marketing. But the Board of Trustees wants to direct me to put more of an outreach staff in the community to do recruitment while the COVID numbers out there and have tables in the community. right now is not the time for that. Right now is a time to follow up with our former students who are enrolled at Compton College, to ask them to come back. Also to really work with the local high schools of students who have completed the high school and are not enrolled anywhere, to try to encourage them to come back to campus. As we continue to open back up more in California, I can see us being out there more in the community, but we're doing the advertising, we're doing the bus signs, but I don't feel comfortable putting staff into the community when you have a high number of COVID cases in certain areas. I hear the faculty's concern regards to the numbers, and we're doing a lot as it relates to that. But I don't feel comfortable putting the classified staff who just now brought back to say, now we want you in the community to recruit students where we have a high number of COVID cases.
I just asked Dr. Kerr. I mean,
but we're going to double down. We're continue to do the work. I think the staff has done a real good job in educational partnerships, follow back up with Students for College Promise. I sent an email last week to the superintendents regards to the list of their graduating seniors and also the students who potentially could take dual enrollment. So we're really starting to maximize targeted outreach, and we're not just throwing a net, hopefully somebody will enroll. We have to be strategic with enrollment.
Mhm.
okay.
Dr. Little?
Yes, I just want to follow up on that piece. It would be good for a future item, one, to get the data on the local feeder high schools and their demographic data, because I think there are declines there as well, even though students is a requirement in California to have students in school, that we're seeing declines at K through 12 as well. So it would be good to have that data to be triangulated with what is our real pool of students. I think a lot of times, and it's two different issues. So I want to start with that we need to know real time. Are we looking at a potential pool of the demographic from 15 to 60 as our pool? What does the data tell us about how many people actually exist in this city who can come to school, or even in the surrounding areas between Paramount, between Linwood, and between Compton? So Dr. Kerr, if we can get that data, that would be one piece of information that could help us strategize to see where the concentration might be for that outreach. Secondarily,
we can provide that at the next board meeting.
Okay. Thank you. Secondarily, I think, as I shared with you anecdotally, I have been out whenever, very limited because of COVID, but when I am out and speaking to young people, whether it's at Home Depot or in stores, and they're interested in, for example, cosmetology or nursing, and I know we have excellent programs, I think it's going to take some strategic, targeted outreach for certain programs that will require partnership with the faculty. It doesn't do me any good as a trustee to talk up the courses, to tell the kids to come to campus, but then there are no faculty that they can meet. Having been a faculty member for over 30 years, our faculty went out on the road because it was the surest way for students and families to understand. I know that's not the model here, but I'm saying that there has to be some partnership. And as was stated earlier, we all should be invested in student learning and student outcomes. To the point of adding a class, I would like to see the data of how many students are full-time. What does full-time mean? So do 60% of our students already take 12 units? What would that do? What are their GPAs of those students? Because maybe it is an add a class, but it's a targeted group who can accelerate their graduation, who can also cover those classes and help their financial situation. Because regardless, if you look at it, 6 years is not care. A lot of people are experiencing trauma and challenge. We understand that education is one of the tools to help people through these kind of situations. So I would encourage all of us to think strategically about how we can help each other and not point the fingers at each other. Because at the end of the day, if we have smaller numbers, look at where that opportunity is. That means that all students should be getting one-on-one, a lot of attention. Our GPA should be averaging 3.8, 3.9, 4.0. And as we grow, word of mouth will say they are invested in us and are learning personally. So to me, those are some of the strategies we need to implement.
Thank you.
All right. Moving on to item 17.02. We have California Community College Trustee Fellowship Intercession Project Implementation Timeline, Dr. Curry.
So I included in your packet the timeline for the project. And could you open it up for me, Lauren? It's the action plan item. Not that one. I think it's the last one. So as the board is aware, we received $65,750 for the trustee fellowship program, which has to do with faculty staff diversity. And so this is it provides you a timeline of the activities that are associated with the plan. The first item that I want to bring forward to the board is regards to what needs to happen in October, regards to some of the data that we have to provide to the board, and then also the board needs to set goals, indicators for 21-22 regards to faculty staff diversity. And then in November, December, and January, we have activities. And then February is when you want the training by Dr. Brian Marks. And so we have that looking at February of 2022.
When did we pick February?
You asked me, I just put this is what I put out here to do it. The question will be based off the timeline, how do we get to it? I put February as a date, but y'all asked me about having Dr. Marks come in.
Let's move him to March. Because we've got our league conferences and everything at the end of January. We need a little breather.
Can I put February? Okay, that's
nothing in February, nothing.
So this just gives you all the activities associated. I can make the one change about March.
So these activities, what is it? Is this more meetings for us?
Correct.
It's more meetings, more.
I'm trying to include it in the board agenda. I'm not trying to schedule separate meetings. The only one I have to schedule a separate meeting for will be Dr. Marks.
Okay, and schedule him for March, because we don't have we've got in May, we've got league stuff. We got a lot, we have a lot of things going. February, I think there's the ACT something or another in DC. Some people may be going to that. So March is the 1 month we don't have an activity. I mean, a statewide or national event.
Got it.
Okay, so the trainings will be, so basically we're spending our money on having people come in and talk to us. Is that what's happening?
Correct.
Why you say it like that?
Yeah, I thought that was our approved project from the league.
I thought we were gonna have one event that was kind of like a 5-star. Oh, I didn't realize that everything was set up for.
So you asked for regards to the training. You want to have the training not on campus,
right?
We did not put. I did not put a location for the training. I have not got involved in those details yet. I'm just putting a timeline together of when these events need to happen.
And that's when we will have Dr. Marks.
You asked for that, but as I mentioned, I still
want Dr. Marks. Yes.
Yes. I asked for Dr. Marks, which I have his contact information, but I have not moved forward yet because I didn't know when we're going to do this. So the day the board is saying that you want to have it in March, so I will look for a day in March.
Okay. Can I clarify who is Dr. Marks going to be training? The 5 of us?
To the board, correct.
Yeah.
Oh, wait.
I thought it was for faculty.
I thought it was for everybody.
No, so if you look at timeline, we have a training for the board, And we have a training for everyone as well. We're going to look at doing it as a professional development day in February for all of our employees, which is a mandatory day.
Which is Dr. Marks.
If you look at the thing, it says Dr. Marks.
Okay,
Yeah.
I just wanted to make sure.
The second one in February. The first one in February, based off what Dr. LeBlanc said, will be moved to March.
Yes, and this one is the one that's going to be off campus, and we'll get a chance to really talk and go through some training activities and all of that.
That's what was requested. You asked me about not doing it on campus.
No, right, not on campus. We want a real training opportunity.
Well, are we doing the staff not on campus also?
The staff will be,
On campus.
That's going to be on campus. It's a different set of money, Trustee Calhoun. This is the money that we got from the work we put in.
So can we go back and focus on the timeline? I think we're speaking logistics on the actual event. Are there, I want to make sure, Dr. Curry, are we approving this? Is this,
No, I'm just
is there
bringing
an
this
action item?
information about the next step. I will make the change regards to March. And then each month we can talk about the logistics for these events. But all I need is to make sure everyone understands this is the project, these are the activities, and I want to make sure that we document it.
Okay.
And the only change today was about March.
And I think we need further discussion about what days that'll be to make sure it's collective for everyone. It's not February. That's all.
Correct.
That is correct.
This is my concern. Just because it's a different pool of money, I'm just asking, why does the staff have to have theirs on campus?
It's more people and you can't aggregate everyone. It's liability for us to take them off. It's mandatory professional development. It's part of their job and it's best to have it.
Was that Dr. Curry answering that question for me?
No, I'm answering. That was our pool of money. We got to decide. So now,
No. I understand. No. I understand the pool of money that Dr. DeBoer LeBlanc is talking about that has to be used for us.
Right.
She also made the statement that it's a different pool of money for the faculty. So I'm talking about the faculty, the different pool of money for the faculty. Are you saying it has to be on the campus for their professional thing and it can't be at a different location? I got where we have an ours. I'm talking about for the faculty. That's all.
When we offer Professional Development Day is held on campus. We have not talked about will Professional Development Day for spring be through Zoom, will be face-to-face. We haven't even got to those discussions. But what we said was that, what I'm saying here today is that the mandatory day is the only day I can do faculty and staff regards to Dr. Marks, because that's a required mandatory day.
Right.
I understand that, Dr. Curry. I was just asking the question, just because it's always been on campus, why does it always have to be on campus? Have anybody ever, I just asked the question, threw it out there. Does it always have to be on campus? That's all. If it don't always have to be on campus, then find another place for staff and faculty to go to a different location. That's all I'm asking. If the answer is no, then just say no, and I won't belabor this. That's all.
Could Professional Development Day be happening off campus? Yes, it could.
Okay, well, you can look into it and look into what the cost would be. And
I would say right now that I'm not in favor of being off campus due to COVID-19 and the number of people that were asking to participate. I don't know if we should do it through Zoom or should we do it face-to-face on campus, or we do Zoom with a face-to-face option. We have not had that conversation yet about spring, but I do have resistance from me right now regards to spring face-to-face off campus, because we have to find location, but also we have to understand their COVID protocols.
So if you had 1,000 people, I'm just throwing something out there. If you had 1,000 faculty and staff that said they wanted to go, and you found a place to go, and the place that they was having at was individual, where every other seat or whatever, and it could still hold 1,000 people, you wouldn't do that for the staff? I'm just asking.
We'd have to pay for their parking. There would be so much expense for the district. Because when you take faculty and staff off campus, you've got to pay for that.
Board members, I'm gonna we're deviating from the original one. And Dr. Curry, I do want to, there's a couple of questions that the trustees have brought forth that want to compare and contrast on possibilities. If you can address them on a future agenda matter, because I don't know if you know that based on the timeline that's being shared for 2022, we don't know how regulations may change. So if you could come back to us and give us hypotheticals for both scenarios that are being presented by the board members, and we could bring this back. We can bring this back to the table just to kind of redirect us back to the timeline and original motion agenda item on the table. Is there any? So just to make sure, anything else on 17.02? All right. Moving on to 17.03, in-person Compton Community College District Board of Trustees meeting.
So this item's here because based off the governor's executive order that we might have to go back to face in October. So I need some direction from the board is that we can set up, my thoughts are we can set up the little theater as a location for the board meeting. And then we can also do some type of Zoom option as well, where we can do a camera in the boardroom where people that's on Zoom can be able to watch through Zoom as well, but keeping that video option as well, beginning for the October meeting. So they have two options. They can do video, but then we also be in person.
Wait.
Before Dr. LeBlanc, I'm going to call on each board member like I regularly do, and then we can all bring in our comments. Is there anything else, Dr. Curry, before I call the board members?
I need some direction in regards to how you want the board meetings set up.
Got it. So Trustee Ramos.
I mean, I support all of that, but I'm trying to understand this. So is it for sure, or will the executive order potentially change from now until the next October board meeting?
It possibly could. We just don't know. And so there's conversation in regards to legislation going through, being fast tracked. There's conversation that the governor might do another executive order. So right now we're just planning for it to end on September 30th, but we don't know.
Okay.
Anything else, Trustee Ramos?
No, that's it for now.
Dr. LeBlanc.
With the rise in COVID cases, I don't know that it would be prudent for us to come back. I'm not sure I heard the logistics that you just laid out there, but I would like to get some more information on the protocols that the district would want to have in place a little bit more. Because we want to, if we're coming back, we want to have the public accessible. And so we've got to, we got to make sure there's plenty of people out there to do this, to take the temperatures, and we're going to need staff support to do this. We can come back, but it's not a matter of just the 5 of us coming and sitting in a room. We've got to be able to open it up for the public. So my concern is from the public perspective, we can sit and put 6 feet between us, but it's the public that has to be there. And I think we need a little bit more information.
Anything else?
I don't think we're ready.
Trustee Calhoun.
All right, if we come back, I'd like for us to come in the theater, my opinion. You can do COVID protection about where people are sitting at. You can have them taped off or whatever, where people won't sit, every other one or every other 2 or whatever. If your staff, the faculty and the classified, requests that they stay in their office or whatever, or do Zoom and we can still see them in person or on Zoom, that's fine with me, but I don't see why you want anybody in the room where we normally meet at when it's too small in there, period. So probably only 6 or 7 people can go in there.
So,
All right. Anything further, Trustee Calhoun?
No, I'm just saying if, listen,
No, I heard you. I
No,
heard you in the
no.
little theater.
okay, stop. Just hold on. What I'm saying is, we asking staff and everybody to come back on the campus 2 or 3 days a week. So how come it's not good enough for the board?
we can come, but the public has to come with us.
I understand.
So I hear, I want to make sure that I give Dr. Little and myself room to give their comments, and then we can circle back. So right now I heard yours and Dr. Little.
I'm kind of split. I think that if we're going to come back, we need to come back fully instead of kind of ebbing and flowing. I agree with Dr. LeBlanc that we do have to take into consideration the public. Either way, if we sit in the theater and have everyone else remote, that could be an option. If the faculty are coming, as you indicated, Trustee Calhoun, if they're in their offices, that's different than being in a theater, especially if they're mandated as staff to cover that. So I'm just wanting us to think about the contingencies. We may have it all worked out by October, but I do think we need to discuss it maybe, I don't know where, when, but I do think we need to ensure that we've addressed it, because there are a lot of, is it going to be mandatory vaccine for the public? We can do that for our employees. We can't do that for the public. We can't, it's a public space. So I think we have to think about who all we're talking about. It's not just faculty and staff of our campus. It's an open public meeting. So those are just the caveats I think we need to consider.
I agree with the little theater and spacing out for the 6 feet. I think we're not the only board that has come back. And so if Dr. Curry, if you can give us an update on what other boards have done, if anyone chose to go back to in-person in September to see an idea of what they did, but probably offering the opportunity for people to continue emailing their public comments, just with a better system in place in submitting. And giving the public the opportunity to go, but making sure that we are 6 feet apart. I don't know if we have a bigger space that we can look into, if the gym is a possibility as well, but I know you have to look at the infrastructure of technology as well.
Thank you, this is helpful.
Before I move on, is there any other follow-ups, trustees, based on comments?
Yeah, I just want to say that I think the board coming back is a good symbolic gesture. But as we've already pointed out, we have to make sure that we factor in the safety precautions for the public. But symbolically, it is a very powerful statement of us all coming together and handling the business of the people.
It will continue to monitor. We're just waiting to see if there's another executive order or another bill that extends this period. And I think we're not the only one. I know the Academic Senate is monitoring this as well.
Yes.
All right. Moving on to item number 18, there's nothing to report on grant items. Item number 19, Board of Policies and Administrative Regulations. Dr. Curry.
There's just the new updated ASB policy for elections, ASB governance, ASG, sorry, finance, investments, and also delegation of authority for HR. So nothing new for those.
All right, moving on to item number 20, information items. Board of Trustees, I'll call upon you to see if there's any particular item that you want to discuss for Dr. Curry for Dr. Curry to discuss, I should say. Trustee Ramos.
I do not have any.
Dr. LeBlanc?
Yes, items 20 07 and 2013. On 2007, I just want.
Let me go through the round, and then I'll have I'll come back to you and call on each one.
You doing what now?
I'm just getting the numbers down from each board member.
Oh,
Yes.
okay.
Trustee Calhoun.
20.13.
Okay. And Dr. Little.
I'm sorry, I'm just trying to hurry up and unmute. And just as for the information, right? We're just pulling the
These are
ones
the
that we want.
informational items. If there's anything further you want Dr. Curry to elaborate on.
Okay, just a transition update, which is 2010. And that's we talked about the professional development. So 2022, if somebody else has called it, that's it.
All right, Dr. Curry, I have 20.07, 20.10, 20.13, and 20.22 that board trustees would like for you to elaborate, and they may have specific questions.
I just had a question. I didn't need elaboration.
Well, that's why I said they may have specific questions on those. So
can I ask the question? Then I mean, I need
go
elaboration.
for it.
Okay. I just wanted to know in a paragraph where we were with Oliver Conover, the Promise Project, and on 2013, if you could just give me the number of how many vaccinations the district has been able to do for the community so far, with just kind of a ballpark number of just about how many vaccinations we've done.
I don't have that number for the number of vaccinations, but I can pull it up on my email in a couple of seconds.
Okay.
Because it was provided at the last board meeting.
Right.
Or 2 board meetings ago, so I can provide that number. I can send it to you by email today. I just don't know the number off the top of my head.
Okay, good.
And then, regards to are you asking how many students are a part of the College Promise?
Yes. How many students, and what is the about how much money do we have left in our account?
Okay, so the update gives you update about our account, and the status is included in the update. And then also in the board letter, we included information about the College Promise. In a second, I can go back to it. I can see the number regards to the students.
Okay, thank you.
My turn.
2010 is next. Yes.
Okay, 2010. That's not me.
That's Dr. Little.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, I'm so sorry. I'm trying to keep it on mute. It was just a quick question just about the transition. I'm trying to see exactly what you were referencing, the partnership transition.
This is a transition from the partnership with El Camino College. And so we meet once a month just to go over like different issues people might be dealing with. It could be from a banner issue with technology, or it could be like, for example, the cafeteria is one of the transition things that we've been working on. And so we have a transition plan that was developed. And so we meet every month to talk about the different issues and things we're following back up on.
So I know we get the minutes and the agendas, but I'm just wondering, do we ever kind of get a summary report of how we are, have begun to be more and more and more independent, or where there's still these interconnections?
We're 100% independent, but we can provide a status report on different areas that are outlined in the transition plan.
Sure, thank you. That's up.
2013.
That one's already been addressed.
Okay. And then we have
2013. No. The next month.
I thought so. Yeah. Go for it.
Yeah. I'm sorry.
It's okay.
We both had 2013.
Yes, we did. That was one of the questions I asked about. We're sitting on $4.8 million for COVID. And so once again, what are we going to do with that money, and how will we use that money?
And I sent the email back to Dr. Trustee Calhoun regards to the HERF $2, regards to allocations. And then we also, every month, we include the expenditure report for HERF, and we improve the CARES Act as well previously. As we move forward, we'll continue to provide updates to the board.
All right. Girl,
Dr. Curry, never mind. No, you had said something and it tickled me. I think it tickled Dr. LeBlanc too, but I don't think you know what you said, but it's okay, Dr. Curry.
Water.
Okay. Only me and Deborah caught it, and it's okay. It's a good thing. It's a good thing. Okay, thank you. Thank you for that.
It got me muted.
I know. So, okay, thank you for that, Dr. Curry, because
But every month we continue to provide the expenditure reports. We're going to add the American Rescue Plan report to the next one for next month, because we did spend some of those dollars last month when we paid student fees. And so we will provide that as a part of the report regards to where we're at expenditure-wise. And then on Thursday, I have a meeting with the Department of Education regards to some other ideas regards to HERF dollars, and requested approval from them regards to some of the ideas that have been brought forward.
And the last item we have is 2022.
And that was the question that I had related to the professional development. Dr. Curry, who's running the evaluation for all of the PD?
So last Friday, Lawrence Asenko met with the leads for the projects, and they were talking about their evaluation, and they're working on their own instruments for each one of them. And Lauren, you could talk a little bit more about the evaluation process.
They who? Can you clarify that first?
Huh?
They who?
The faculty for those areas who are the leads.
Do they have expertise in evaluation?
Lawrence Asenko has the expertise that relates to evaluation.
So that's what I'm asking, who's running it, because I thought you said the faculty are,
So
but okay.
Our Institutional Effectiveness Department is working on the evaluation, but we're also working with the faculty in those areas in regards to what they would like to see happen as it relates to the evaluation. And I said Lawrence Asenko can provide more information.
Because they need to drive it, but I'm just saying, independent of them and their strategy and their programming, we need to have accountability for the investment, and it requires expertise. So I'm just asking. Thank you, Lauren.
Sure. So this is Lauren Sasenko, Director of Institutional Effectiveness. I am working with the 18 different teaching and learning projects. We're going to be doing a two-pronged evaluation. So we're going to do a standardized survey that I'm going to send out to all of the leads that helps collect information on process. So how did you do your activity, and any challenges that they may have had, and any preliminary insights about what they have accomplished. And then what I did on Friday was I worked with the leads of the 18 projects to help identify what their outcomes are. And the outcomes are not standardized because they're all a little bit different depending upon the activity and the focus of the professional development. And so the leads are helping us define what those outcomes are, and then helping to put together a data collection plan. And we are leaning on these leads a little bit to help us with that data collection, but I will also be supporting them, and institutional effectiveness will be supporting the leads to make sure that we're able to collect the data and then provide a summative report across the 18 projects by the end of the year.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Those are all the items that Board of Trustees wanted additional information on, Dr. Curry. Moving on to item 21, future agenda items. Dr. Curry?
Yeah, so if the board has any items that you like to see brought forward, 21.01 is the item.
Board members, Trustee Ramos?
I do not have any.
Dr. LeBlanc?
Oh, I'm unmuting myself, President Lopez. No, I have no items. Thank you so much.
Trustee Calhoun?
You guys keep trying to call me a doctor. I must be trying to tell me something. We already talked about the student trustee. And you'll get back with me about the Compton College radio show station with Kevin Nash. That's the update. Need more information about the fire academy and the money that we still have for the fire academy. What became of your conversation? Doesn't necessarily mean that, well, anyway. And you're supposed to give me an update, or you're going to give me an update about having trade classes at Compton College? The trade classes that we don't have. Plumbing, pipe fitting, electrical, union people teaching those classes. Think you're supposed to give. I don't see Dr. Curry. Did he disappear?
He's there. He's looking at you.
Oh, okay, now I see him. So, you know what, Dr. LeBlanc? I love you.
I'm just staying on top of things.
That's good. I just need some more umph with that right there, and how it's going about those classes coming on our campus, including post classes where police officers, security guards all over come and do the post certificate training. I know a lot of them go to Rio Hondo, but that's another pool of money our college can have.
Oh.
That was future agenda.
All right, thank you so much. Dr. Little.
Yes, just to build on what Dr. Calhoun said, talking about our vocational and trade classes, and as I said earlier in the meeting, ways in which to highlight that via community meetings, and also to continue to assess and communicate our outreach strategies, and maybe keeping that as a regular monthly agenda item for the foreseeable future in terms of what we're doing. And also the demographic information, if we can get that in maybe the next couple of months, I think it'll help us. That's it.
All right, thank you. Moving on to oral reports. Dr. Curry.
I just want to say that last week, Friday, I met with the city of Compton in regards to the fire academy and their next steps, and we'll provide an update at the next board meeting. I will provide it in the form of a letter, but I did meet with the city of Compton last Friday regards to the fire academy and also their expectations. And so we'll know more in the next couple of weeks regards to that and also the next steps. One thing I do want to highlight, we were able to schedule the foundation annual retreat for September 16th, and that has now been scheduled, which I include information in your packet. And the final piece, we will come back next month with information about the trades program. As I said, I'll bring it back at a future meeting. And then also we should have a follow-up on Dr. Trustee Calhoun's question about Kevin Nash, because the meeting will be held before the next board meeting. And that concludes my report.
All right, moving on to Board of Trustees, Trustee Ramos.
No report.
Dr. LeBlanc.
Yes, just wanted to mention that I will be holding a community meeting on October 20th, 5 o'clock. Paramount community is invited, and certainly my colleagues are always invited to join in a nonverbal fashion.
Trustee Calhoun.
Good evening, everybody. Welcome back, welcome back, welcome back. I know we're going through trials and tribulations, but this too shall pass. I'm going to have a community meeting on September 30th at 6 p.m. It is going to be on Zoom and in the Little Theater for men and women or residents that would love to come to the council meeting.
Council meeting.
I'm sorry, the college board meeting.
Okay.
They up here on my other screen. I'm sorry. I apologize. So it's going to be in person in the little theater, also on Zoom. So you have your choice. And that's September 30th at 6 p.m. I would like to know if we can close in the memory of Maxine Kemp. And I think Dr. DeBoer LeBlanc knows her very well. And Dr. Little might also. She's a longtime teacher for Compton Unified School District. She was a second mother to all the students at Compton High School. Everybody knew Miss Maxine Kemp, and she passed away today. So I hope we can close in the memory. And then also close in the memory of Councilwoman Michelle Chambers' twin brother. His name is Michael William. And you might have been seeing it in the news. He's the actor that used to be on The Wire, Little Omar. That was her. Yeah, that was her twin brother.
The 52-year-old that just died?
Yes.
What happened? Oh, never mind. Tell me later.
Google.
Oh, Google. Okay.
Yes, so we'd like to close in that and one other thing.
You know you got to jot down notes.
I did, but
forgot where you put them.
I'll leave that for later.
There you go.
No, that'll be a one-on-one conversation with Dr. Curry.
Okay, thank you so much, Dr. Little.
Yes, I want to just thank the administration, Dr. Curry, the entire team, all of the faculty, all of the staff, and especially our students and our board, as we are all in this work for purpose. And just want to remind us of that. As was stated earlier, we may have differences of strategy, differences of thought, but we can never have differences of purpose and mission. Want to thank again President Lopez for her continued leadership as we traverse through some very challenging times. Also, we have 2 community meetings, and my community meeting will probably be wedged right in the middle of that. But really going to be focusing and targeting it around certain programmatic areas so that we can meet the needs of our community and to really show all of the wonderful assets that we have here at Compton College. Very few cities, especially those that are 10 square miles, have a community college, have an airport, have all of the assets that Compton has. And I want us to remember that. I too would like to acknowledge the memory of Mrs. Kemp, who was one of my teachers at Compton High, class of '83, and to, she sold fireworks in the community many years afterwards to continue her support and legacy. I too would like to acknowledge Councilwoman Michelle Chambers, her loss of her brother. I would also like to recognize the people all around the country, both those who experienced flooding, the fires in Northern California, and especially the people in Houma, Louisiana, who were hit by the hurricane. It's the 7th generational city of my family personally. So many are very displaced tonight, but thankful that they are alive. And so as we continue to traverse the myriad challenges with the pandemic, education is always a balm, and I wish everyone well as we close this meeting in honor of all the great people who have sacrificed for us.
Madam President, also remember the people of Acapulco. Since we've been in this meeting tonight, they've had a 7-point-something earthquake in Acapulco, Mexico.
Jesus. Thoughts and prayers, and for people in Haiti and Afghanistan. My apologies.
Okay. I want to thank Dr. Curry and the team for partnering up with Supervisor Mitchell's office. There was a food distribution on September 1st. 1,226 households were distributed food boxes, and close to 100 were vaccinated on site. So it was a food distribution and a vaccination distribution. So thank you so much for that outreach. In addition to a couple of the names that were shared, we do want to acknowledge the soldiers that we lost. In memory of them as well, we would like to close. And so just to reiterate, our next in-person board meeting is scheduled for October 19. Closed session will begin at 4 o'clock. Open session will begin at 5 o'clock. And we are closing in memory of Maxine Kemp, Michael Williams, our lost Afghanistan soldiers, those deceased by the earthquake, those in Haiti, those in Afghanistan. And I apologize if I missed someone else. Thank you so much, board members. It is 7:37 and this meeting is adjourned.
Night, everybody. Everybody, good night.
Right.
Good night.